So let us proceed that according to Piaget, there are 4 stages of cognitive development. That majorly, according to him, Piaget, that there are 4 stages of cognitive development. So we are going to look at these 4 stages of cognitive development into detail. So here we shall start with the sensorimotor stage. The sensorimotor stage ranges from 0 to 2 years. Under this, it is that the child is not yet capable of thinking, but operates mainly by reflex actions based on motor activities. For instance, at this stage, the child grasps objects a quarter, then kicks legs, is always kicking legs, eats, and various actions. Then these reflexes always disappear by 3 to 6 months. The main reactions are those that are such as eager intelligence by discovering satisfying experiences or accidental discoveries. So after the 3 to 6 months, the child at times those reflexes tend to stop. Then they start discovering new things by accidentally. They proceed that from 4 to 8 months, the child develops secondary sexual response reactions. It is during this time when the child attempts to repeat pleasurable experiences which initially discovered by accident. Remember, there are some kids, for instance, walking, that this kid attempts, he meets some things accidentally. But if he sees that he or she is able to do this thing, he turns on repeating it, even if it's beating somewhere. This kid will start beating there. If he knocks something, it produces a certain sound. Therefore, the child attempts to modify the events that had occurred accidentally. So the things that had occurred accidentally to this kid, he tends to modify them. He tends to make them come into reality. So between from 8 to 12 months, the child begins to coordinate the experiences of secondary sexual reactions or modifications. Therefore, the infants begin to coordinate previously learned experiences and develop goal-directed behaviors. That at times they tend to perfect what they have learned accidentally. So between 12 to 12 months, the child develops tertiary sexual responses. In this period, the child's mental capacity begins to be dominated by experimental tendencies because of the likely consequences attached to them. So at experimental tendencies that he always wants to experiment. When I throw this thing, what can it cause? If I happen to touch into this water, how does it feel? If I knock down this door, what will come out of it? So there is one to be experimental. They don't want to be theoretical, but there is one to be experimental. Therefore, the child becomes aware that certain behaviors produce certain consequences. I get that some behaviors that I do, they have consequences which are good or bad. It is at this period that the child is able to know that some things that I do, they have because he or she has done them and has seen the consequences in them. When he touched on when this kid found a gas cooker and there was water, then he tried to tamper with the water on it. This water burnt him. He learns that this water that you find on a gas cooker is always hot, right? Then by 24 months, the child is in transition to symbolic thinking. Therefore, the child develops the ability to use primitive symbols, i.e., symbols which allow the children to transform events into simple images. If it's writing at times, he tries to mold some things. He tends to draw some images. It is at this stage that the child happens to try to discover some more other things that are outside, that are beyond him and which are outside from his thinking and what he has experienced initially. in his early stage. It is the pre-operation stage. So the pre-operational stage, it starts from 2 to 7 years. During this period, the child's thinking is highly symbolic with mental representation. Therefore, the child's thinking is dominated by the ability to make objects represent certain events. Sometimes at this stage that the kid starts to make objects to represent certain events. He tries to draw some things. Let me draw dad and mom, let me draw a car, let me draw daddy's car, let me draw our house at home. So they always symbolic. They always represent the actions by symbols. It is the beginning of shifting mentally from using primitive symbols to sophisticated symbols. This stage is divided into two. So majorly it is shifting from primitive symbols to sophisticated symbols. Ava to symbols which are easy to symbols which are kind of a bit complicated. You shall see, so this stage is divided into two. There is a pre-conceptual stage, it is from 2 to 4 years. The child has the following characteristics. Under this, the child has the following characteristics. Sorry, it's a mistake. So under this, we shall see that the child has the following characteristics. Symbolic function, i.e. the ability to mentally represent an object that may not be present, e.g. the sight of a flask. A child knows there is something to drink. That under this, whenever a child sees a flask, he knows that there is something to drink. Isn't a flask? There is something to drink. Because initially, he has seen initially in the previous stage that whenever you see a flask, I see mom getting milk out of it, I've seen mom getting porridge out of it. Then there is symbolic play. This is using materials or objects to represent reality, a doll to a girl or a car to a boy in form of toys. So this one they try to use symbols. If it is if the baby is a girl, this girl will always love to use dolls to represent a baby. Into a quarter doll, and they always give a lot of care to these babies or to these dolls. Then for a boy, he has a car. They always buy for them toys which are cars. So they use these toys as cars. You see them driving around it. If you see that, if the boy happens to see the father washing the car, this will also get water and also wash his car toy. And will park it somewhere. It has a parking. Sometimes even there are soldiers, because soldiers of Tonotono, representing Sidikali. Then there is transductive thinking. This is thinking from particular, i.e., the children have a tendency of shifting a particular situation to another situation. If his father has a blue car, the child always knows that every blue car is his daddy's car. So under this transductive thinking, umwana buli kimu kya first is what example. Ajagezako compare ekintu nga kiri akyasati ku kirala. An example, if the father has a blue car, he has a Primo or a Prado and it is blue in color. Every blue car you'll find around, you'll say that is my daddy's car. That is my daddy's car, or that is my mom's car. Because ye chicha mind mika daddy ya blue, so buli motoka ya blue gender motoka yachi ya daddy. Yet that car initially doesn't belong to the father, or it doesn't belong to the mother. Whenever he sees a phone which looks like an iPhone, I know that the father holds an iPhone. That phone is for my mother. Whenever he sees the 3 cameras, yet it's not his or hers, but chichimuri muwongo from 2 to 4 years. They always have that tendency. That is my daddy's car. That is my daddy's phone. Alaba nti kyoyina kyefaananyiza nakiri kati obwongo mugamba nti kyekyo kyennyini. Mu kaseera kano tanatuuka kwawulira ddala nti emmotoka ya bbulu eno gye ndabisi eya taata bweti bwekolaki bweti bwefaanana.